Are your kitchen and bathroom way overdue for a remodel? Well, I got the guy for you. Call John Sellers at First Response Contracting, 484-256-7136. Both residential and commercial services, and he's licensed and insured. Call him at 484-256-7136. First Response Contracting. Hello, this is Brad Weisman. You're listening to Real Estate and You. We've got a really cool guest up here for you. We are talking to somebody from Connecticut this afternoon, and I am super excited. I've seen this guy on Instagram. I've seen him at different places as far as podcasts. He's been on a lot of different podcasts. In fact, one of the ones he was on that was a big one was the Bigger Pockets and the Real Estate Syndication Show. And now he's on Real Estate and You. And I am so happy to introduce Andres Bernal. Hopefully I said your name right, Andres.
Yeah, you got it.
I actually got it? I have to tell you.
You got it.
I have to tell you, I never get names right. Unless the guy's name is like Mike Smith. Otherwise, I'm pretty screwed. Hugo can attest to that. Hugo knows that I'm terrible with names. I'm really bad with names.
I'll have to change my name then.
No, don't do that. So, you really piqued my interest. I get a lot of requests for people to be on the show as the show grows. And a lot of times, a lot of the stories sound the same. And so I'm looking now in the beginning, I would just, anybody that want to be on, I'd be like, all right, let's just bring them on. Let's see what we can talk about. But what I've learned and what Hugo and I have learned is that it has to be interesting. It has to be something different. It has to be a story that I think needs to be told. And your story is definitely one that needs to be told, because what comes to mind right away when I read your story was the American dream. They always call real estate the American dream, and you're experiencing that, which is incredible. So give me a little background here of, I know you're from the Dominican Republic, which is like one of our neighbors, really. And how did you get here and now have, all these places that you own, these homes that you own, renting them out, and you started as a tennis player to come here, right?
Yeah. So I started as a tennis player. I've been playing tennis since I'm 9. I'm 33 right now.
Wow.
And it was at the beginning, I actually didn't like to play tennis, and my dad kind of like persist a little bit for me to play, and thank God he did, because one thing led to another. So after like the 5th, 6th try, I started loving it, and the rest is history. I think it has been quite a journey that we can uncover here.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you go from tennis, and then what's funny is I listened to some other podcasts, and you said that you didn't want to rent. So this is funny. Most people that come to an area, a different country, all right, the last thing that would be on somebody's mind is, I don't want to rent. I want to buy something. This is ridiculous, this whole rent thing, To me, it would be, let's settle in. Let's get used to the country. Let me play some tennis. How did you get to I don't want to rent?
Yeah. So, I rented for 2 years, but so even if I rented for 2 years, I was not living in the place because I was traveling playing professional tennis.
Right.
So
got it.
Out of the 2 years, maybe I live a year there.
Yeah.
Right. So I rented for 2 years until the landlord says, hey, I'm selling the house. I don't want to deal with you and the other guy on the top floor, even though I was no noise, no nothing. Like I was barely there.
Right.
And then I was like thinking, I don't want to be kicked out again like that. So I'm going to buy my own place. Yeah.
That's amazing. So it was out of necessity in a way. You're like, you know what, this whole moving around thing is not going to work for me. So I need to figure this out and buy a property. And that's not easy to do when you're not from this country. I know that, getting financing and getting that to happen when you're from out of the area or from a different country, there had to be hurdles there with that.
So people think that bad credit is like the only thing. Try to be a foreign in this country and try to get a loan.
Right.
I actually went through at least 20 banks that told me no, until I told my mortgage broker, hey, listen, you got to keep trying. This is going to be hard. One bank is going to say yes. So a random bank in California, yes, with a few conditions. And that's how my journey started.
It's amazing. So bank in California decides, okay, we're going to give this guy a mortgage in Connecticut.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, that's amazing, actually, that it took a bank in California. Typically, your banks that are local would be a little bit more forgiving for somebody that wants to buy something local. So what did that look like? The first purchase. I mean, now you got this purchase under your belt. You're like, wow, this is cool. Now, was it a 2-unit or 3-unit? What was it? 1 unit? Like, what did you buy?
Yeah. It was actually, I only could qualify for a condo, believe it or not, because it was a lower price point.
Gotcha.
And even though I was making, I started teaching in my profession, I was making about $70,000 a year, and I bought a $90,000 condo. So I was above pre-approved.
Gotcha.
And the credit was really good because once I started, to build credit when I came here to this country, I started opening like little credit cards and here and there. And the financing actually was not the problem. The problem was that banks don't want to see, oh, this guy can fly away after his 3 years visa. So expire. So they don't want to have that. So, but this bank from California say yes. And, I think that at that point, if I wouldn't have that loan, I think I would have gave up, and I don't think I would have invested in real estate.
Wow. So thank goodness. So you had this lender that obviously kept pushing and was determined to find you the right lender, the right bank to give you the mortgage. So you're saying if that wouldn't have happened, you would have given up, and you'd be like, all right, I'm not going to do this.
Absolutely.
Isn't it amazing how one person's determination can change the trajectory of your life? It's incredible.
And what a lot of people don't know, at that time also, I was thinking like, okay, I'm paying $1,200 in rent, and a mortgage payment plus utility was about $1,300. And I'm like, a lot of people don't even do that calculation because they either don't know or they don't think it's possible. And that's my mission in life. Open the possibilities to people to see like, hey, listen, I'm a foreign for Dominican Republic. Like if I can do it, like I started with nothing in 2012. I actually came with like not even $500 in my pocket. And everybody can do it. There's no excuse. There's no victim mentality here. So
amazing. So what did you do for cash? I mean, you came with $500. I mean, did you just save up money to buy this property and wait until you had the right amount of money?
Yeah. So the first 3 days, I run almost out of money. I actually came here with no job secure. It was a potential job.
Oh my goodness.
That I could maybe get. And I remember so vividly the first day I landed in New York City. I went to Times Square because that's all I knew. And I went to Panera, and I remember renting the first, getting the first hotel room for the first night. At the end of the third day, I had like 122. And that's when I get the call saying like, we need people here. I'm like, how do I get there? I'll get there.
Right.
So I packed my bag in hotels and I went there and I think that you are a product, I believe, of what your mom or dad or your caregiver is until you're like 7 years old. And I truly believe my mom was the saver in the family. My dad was more the entrepreneur and like risk adverse, I will say, to like, take those risks in business. So I think like that was for me. That is a perfect balance.
Yeah.
When I have the best of two worlds, and I can pick and choose, what side and what stage I wanna get into.
That's interesting. Well, it's good also that you realize why you are the way you are, and you realize and you give gratitude back to your parents, which is actually really cool, because a lot of people don't do that, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do it because maybe it wasn't the best situation, or maybe it didn't turn out that way. But I love hearing that. That's awesome that you do that. Did you just give up tennis then, or what happened with the tennis thing?
So I played for almost 2 years, and I realized I was in debt. I reached a professional ranking, and I realized that that's not the life that I wanted. You had to travel a lot, and when people see like traveling, people think that is going to the Coliseum and going to these fancy places, but you're like working.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't like that. All my time was spending either like eating, practicing, resting, and then playing, obviously, tournaments. And then I realized I cannot, keep up with this life. I don't like to be far away from home, being more far away because I'm from the Dominican Republic. So,
right.
there was no sense of security. There was not a sense of like like feeling that like warmth and home. So I said to myself, I'm going to try something else. And at that time, like in the middle of my tennis career, I started teaching a little bit just to help out the club.
Coaching other tennis players.
Yeah. So I was coaching, and I was actually working in the same place that I was training, and they were paying me okay. I was like, and I fell in love. I was like, this is what I really want to do. Interesting.
So instead of being a player, you'd rather be a coach, because then you can stay at the same place and do it. Now, there's rumor that says that you have coached some pretty famous people. I heard this earlier today. Yeah. So tell me about some of the people that you've coached in tennis. It's pretty cool list.
Yeah. So just like celebrities, I had the honor to teach Ewan McGregor from Star Wars. I was showing you the pictures. I taught Heidi Klum. I taught Selena Gomez when I didn't know who she was. Again, this is 2012.
Oh boy, I hope she didn't notice that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know, and she was super nice, super humble. She said Selena, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool name. And then when I came back to the pro house where all the pros are staying, I'm like, yeah, I taught a girl, Selena. Oh yeah, Selena Gomez. Yeah, I think you. And then he showed me a picture, and I'm like, yeah,
that's her.
Like, oh my god, like she's a superstar, whatever.
Yeah.
She was super nice. Super
that's
humble,
cool. Did Ewan? Did he bring a lightsaber, or did he bring clubs?
What did he say?
Did the guy from Star Wars, did he bring a lightsaber, or did he bring golf clubs? I'm just wondering. I didn't know how he golfs. If he does he use the lightsaber, or how's that work out?
Lightsaber. So this guy, you see him in movies and action movies and being this guy, but like in reality, obviously it's all acting. The way that he approached me and the warmth, like I was teaching
that's cool.
His daughters, right? And he was the kind of guy who was like, hey, can you join us for a beer? And his wife, Eve, was amazing. She's a designer from France. She was like so home, like, hey, whenever you need anything, just come.
Oh, that's nice. It's good to hear that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you don't hear that too often. So where does the real estate go now? How many properties do you own now? And what, any kind of advice on what to do? I mean, you're really, kicking it with the real estate. I think it said here on your bio that you've like 32 properties, or 32 doors it would be, I guess. Yeah,
so I have 13 properties, 32 doors. We just got on the contract for a 4-unit yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah. So excited.
So this is full time, right? This is what you're doing full time.
Well, yeah.
And coaching.
I also teach almost 30 hours a week tennis.
And that's right. You have your own tennis academy, or you're doing the whole thing. How many students do you have?
So juniors, I have 48 students a week. I also do private lessons. I teach also adults. I have about 6-7 adults. So yeah, I'm teaching. When people tell me like, I don't have time for this, I'm like, listen, I know you do. You just have all the priorities.
Now, but the only thing is, though, you did tell me before we started here, you're expecting your first child. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, you think you have time now, okay? Hugo can attest to this. You think you have time. Wait until you have your first child. You want to talk about losing time? It's amazing, but it's funny. You'll make it all happen. A lot of people say, I'm waiting for the right time to have children. There is no right time. It's always the right time. But I think that's awesome. And you have your babies due May 4th, you said. So May the 4th be with you, which is perfect for the Ewan McGregor thing. It just falls right in line there. But yeah, no, I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. So May 4th, we're expecting that boy. We're so excited.
Very cool.
This is more exciting than any deal that I've done.
And it'll stay that exciting. Trust me. So tell me, what gets you up in the morning? What's your why? Like, what are you striving for? What do you want to see your future look like?
My why, believe it or not, I knew this. It was family. My why is that I growing up, I saw my dad as a Latino. Every Latino knows this, but you start working, since you're like 4 or 5 years old. Like that's like the path of like 90% of Latinos, right?
Wow.
And I saw my dad, working a lot. Part of it was because he had to, but part of it also because he liked to. And I'm like, my why now is like, I love my dad, and I think he did great for us, but I don't want to be there. I want to enjoy with my family. I want to take my kid to different places, travel, teach him and teach her, hopefully the second or third, teach them like how to like, explore the world. That like the world is not only where you are, but I've traveled over almost 30 countries, and like there's so much out there that I want my family, not only my kid, but my wife to see. Yeah. So my wife, when I wake up every morning, is I'm gonna build this portfolio where I work the least amount of time, because right now I have a few people in my team, and I only spend an hour a week, and that was the whole goal. And my true why is just like having the time and having the choice to do whatever I want. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that, and actually there's some definitions around wealth, and there's actually wealth has nothing to do with the amount of money you have. And I'll probably screw this whole thing, this definition up, but it has a lot to do with doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, and for as long as you want. That's
100%.
That's more wealth. And the reason being 100%. Is that it doesn't have to do with money, because everybody's wealth, their picture of wealth is different. If my wealth is being on a rowboat in the river, catching catfish every day, whatever, I don't do any of those things, just so you know. But if it was that would be wealth for me. If I could do it when I wanted, with who I wanted, and as long as I wanted to, that would be wealth. So it's not a number. It's about lifestyle. It's about lifestyle and what your choices are.
You hit the nail there. And a lot of people confuse being rich with wealth. Being rich is having zeros in the bank account.
Yep, right? Exactly.
And if you're a slave on your job, yes, you're rich. You're super rich. But like you have so many responsibilities. But being wealth is like, doing the things that you want. Yep. Like you said, with the people that you want and at the time that you want. So, No, and
absolutely. I think you're heading that direction, man. And it sounds really cool. I'm excited to see where you go. I'm excited to touch base with you along the way and see, your progress. So hopefully you'll stay in touch. Is there anything that you want to say to anybody out there aspiring to be a real estate mogul?
Of course. So one of my best advice I can give you is try to find how you're going to do things and who's going to help you to do those things, especially when you're investing in real estate. I, unfortunately, didn't build those relationships at the beginning of my investing career. But that's something that, like, don't let the deal pass. You know what a good deal is. You're analyzing the deals. You're cash flowing good. You're about to pull the trigger, and there's a hurdle. I will say, find a way to jump that hurdle instead of just like giving up, because again, giving up is easy, but like true wealth, the wealth that we have built through the real estate my real estate portfolio and all the doors that I have has been because I've been able to jump that hurdle just because I make that decision. So
you got it.
Commit to it and find the how and find the who.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today, Andres. And that was just great. I appreciate it so much. So that's it. You heard it from Andres Bernal. What an amazing story. He goes from tennis to tenants. That's really what's going on there. And what a great experience. I'm looking forward to touching base with him and seeing how things go. I know it's going to be just upward, and we wish him the best on May 4th with his new baby boy. All right, that's it. See you next Thursday at 1 p.m. Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136.